To a developing story you saw first on Good Morning Indiana. Part of a $35 million apartment complex in Fishers may be a complete loss after a massive morning fire. Investigators are looking for a cause and say there is so much water and ice damage to the flats at Fishers it likely cannot be salvaged. RTV6 reporter Julie Persley shows us the dramatic pictures of the raging fire from this morning.
A charred and ice-covered building is all that is left of the flats at Fishers. The fire was called out just before 5 o'clock this morning. This luxury apartment complex was still under construction. Flames were shooting into the sky along 131st Street. There were so many emergency crews on the scene that 131st Street was closed between Cumberland Road and State Road 37. Smoke filled nearby neighborhoods and businesses around the Fishers marketplace. Firefighters explain what they saw when they got here and why the fire moved so fast.
Report of a flame seen in the upstairs apartment. Upon arrival and investigation, firefighters did find fire coming out of the roof on the building. It's a C-shaped building.
Investigators say construction was still in the drywall phase, so that allowed a lot of open space for the fire to move quickly through that C-shaped building. Firefighters and emergency crews from Noblesville, Carmel, and Indianapolis were all called in to help. Investigators say there is so much ice and damage from the water in this building that engineers will have to be called in to see if it is structurally sound for anyone to even go in. They're concerned about all of that weight from the ice. From Fishers, Julie Persley, RTV6.
And now there is no electricity to the building yet, so investigators do not think the cause was electrical. The exact cause, of course, is still under investigation.
Our team coverage of this story continues. That fire posed a lot of risk to 50 firefighters from Fishers, Noblesville, and Carmel that were working in freezing weather. Our TV6 reporter Chris Prophet is live in Fishers, where that apartment complex is located. Chris?
Well, this fire has been out for a few hours, but we do want to show you the firefighters are still on the scene. They're on that ladder, and they are checking for any potential hot spots in this very large building. And the first firefighters called out here fought this fire for 4 solid hours and in extreme weather. A lot of water had to be used to put out the massive fire in the 78-unit building, which coated firefighters and their equipment. They were able to take some short breaks and get warm inside of a school bus that was provided by Hamilton Southeastern Schools. Fortunately, none of those firefighters injured, but at noon, while they were still working to put this fire out, it was 17 degrees, and it felt like 5 above, so cold that for a time a fire hose became stuck on the pavement on 131st Street.
There's always a risk of exposure to the skin in those temperatures. You add ice freezing onto the skin, so that's always a risk. Hypothermia, while the firefighters are working, they're staying warm, but when you get to the point where you're doing defensive firefighting and you're essentially sitting still in one spot and you're becoming an icicle, essentially.
This building was scheduled to open in April. We talked to the developer late this afternoon, and of course he said that it's believed that the losses will run into the millions of dollars, but they do plan to rebuild, and you'll hear from him coming up at 6 o'clock. Live in Fishers, Chris Prophet, RTV6.
More details now about that apartment complex. These are pictures of what the flats at Fishers were supposed to look like when complete. See those in just a sec. It was to include a 1-, 2-, and 3-bedroom apartment. Now, the $35 million project is being developed by Cincinnati-based Ackerman Group. The complex was part of the overall Fishers Marketplace development, which includes stores, restaurants, and a bank. You can go to theindychannel.com to view our photo gallery from the fire in Fishers. Several of the photos were sent in by viewers who watched the drama unfold throughout the long morning. You'll find that gallery on our homepage.